Nancy Pelosi under fire. You see, Pam Bondi's coming for her, ladies and gentlemen. Pam Bondi's like, this is not happening. You're not going to be out there completely impeding federal law. Like, it's not allowed. You cannot make the decision to simply say, we are not going to allow for the arrests. In fact, we're going to take it one further, because Nancy Pelosi is suggesting, as is many members of the Democrat Party, they're suggesting now that they can arrest ICE agents for doing their job. I mean, what planet are these people on? Did they never take a civics class, for goodness sakes? Apparently not. Here's Pam Bondi making it very clear what's going to happen to Nancy Pelosi and any other Dem that tries to do this stuff.
You cannot disclose the identity of a federal agent, where they live, anything that could harm them. Pritzker, same ballgame with him. And, you know, Pelosi got a letter today from Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. So did Brooke Jenkins, that DA in San Francisco. We told them, preserve your emails, preserve everything you have on this topic, because if you are telling people to arrest our ICE officers, our federal agents, you cannot do that. You're impeding an investigation, and we will charge them if they think they have not met me, because we will charge them if they are violating the law. We will protect our federal agents. They're out there working nonstop, as you're showing right now during a shutdown. These people are out there working to keep Californians safe, yet you've got Pelosi out there saying to obstruct their investigation. You can't do it, and we're going to investigate her now, as well as that DA.
Okay, no, you can't. I mean, like, this is just basic stuff, okay? It should not be that hard, you guys. I'm sort of struck by the utter lack of knowledge when it comes to understanding how the government works, okay? So there's the Supremacy Clause, there's the Commerce Clause, you name it. There's the Immigration Clause. I mean, when it comes to who's in this country, the federal government has all the power. And guess what? Congress is the one that made the law saying you can't just come in, right? We actually have to have borders. And so it is now the federal government's job, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Officers' jobs, right? The ICE agency, DHS, they have to then enforce the federal law, which Congress has put in place. So how does this make any sense that now Nancy Pelosi is going to say, okay, we're going to arrest ICE agents, or you get Pritzker out there saying similar stuff? I mean, these people are bonkers, okay? Just bonkers. And so fine, it's going to have to go to the Supreme Court. Do they think it's going to slow it down? You're going to arrest ICE agents for doing their job? Come on. I mean, you get Letitia James, who, by the way, was in court today. You know, this is good. She just came out yesterday with some wild, wacky stuff, trying to say she wanted everybody to be submitting all of the video they could and the information on ICE agents. She's running around because she's trying to find out or come up with reasons to arrest them. I mean, this is surreal, as Tom Homan points out, but he's already talking to Pam, and he's like, listen, this is impediment, and they're going down.
They're all over this. They're all over this. Now they're looking at, impediment charges, looking at who's funding this stuff, right? Because I'm telling you, it's a matter of time. And I hate saying this, but I'm going to say it because I truly believe it's a matter of time before an ICE agent's ambushed and killed. Because we're letting people know where enforcement activities are occurring. And they're looking for the worst of the worst. The last thing we want to do is give a bad guy, the worst of the worst, a heads up that ICE is down the street. I go to bed every night, and I pray for every man and woman of ICE and Border Patrol to go home safe to their families. I buried too many ICE agents in my career, and Border Patrol agents. This has to stop. So Pam Bondi's all over us. I know DOJ's all over this. We'll hold people accountable. This cannot happen. It's disgusting. I can't believe what's going on in this nation today. I wake up every morning in disbelief that people want to call the law enforcement officers the bad guys and the criminal public safety threats the victims. It's ridiculous. It's all upside down. But we're going to keep doing this job and keep President Trump's promise to American people.
Thank you, Tom Homan. But here's the thing. I know he's waking up in disbelief every day, and I'm sitting here kind of shell-shocked as well. But the reality is, you know what? Not everybody's like that. Half the country fully approves of what's going on. And when you look at all the poll numbers now, I mean, people are shocked by this. He's hanging on. Donald Trump is hanging on. Why? Because people see him as strong on the border. They see him as strong on the economy, too. Just look at gas prices. We'll talk about that. Way down, under $3 a barrel nationwide. I know not in California, but you can blame Gavin Newsom. and all those taxes that he puts on for that. But the reality here is, look, ICE has a job to do. ICE is out there doing the job. And when people like Nancy Pelosi and others, Pritzker, whoever, are trying to get in the way of that, you're now creating a situation that some worry really could develop into some kind of civil war. I don't actually worry about that because I know that the Supreme Court is going to say, sorry, tough luck. I mean, look what happened in Portland, Oregon. You had the appeals court out there, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals saying, hey, yeah, you want the National Guard in Oregon? You can put the National Guard in Oregon. And so he won that round. It will likely go to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court is going to say, yes, the federal government has the power to do that. Otherwise, you're in a situation where you could have 1963 Alabama all over again, where George Wallace was like, I don't want the National Guard. And the federal government's like, well, you have to integrate your school. You may not want to integrate your school, but guess what? You have to do it. And we have the jurisdiction and the right to make sure that you do. And thus, that's a great example when you need the federal government doing what the federal government does. Here is the president speaking on Sunday with my friend Maria Bartiromo, former colleague at actually both CNBC and Fox Business, saying, hey, I know Pritzker doesn't like it out there in Illinois. And I know that, Gavin Newsom doesn't really like it, but San Francisco needs it. Here's the deal. We're coming in. Tough luck.
But the governor, who got thrown out of his business by his family because he's a dope, but the governor, Pritzker, he doesn't want us in. If I were him, if I were a Democrat and I were him, I'd say, come on in. What do you have to lose?
And you're going to go to San Francisco next.
We're going to go to San Francisco. The difference is I think they want us in San Francisco.
Yeah, not really.
San Francisco was truly one of the great cities of the world.
It was.
And then 15 years ago, it went wrong. It went woke. Remember my statement? Anything woke is, and then I used a filthy, well, broke is another word. I used a filthy word, but I didn't.
No.
I took enough heat on that. I won't say it again. But
here's the thing. He's coming for San Francisco. He's coming for Portland. They welcomed him in D.C. Did you see that? I mean, the numbers just plunged in D.C. and they're continuing to plunge. I mean, this is good stuff. They're thrilled in Memphis. How many videos have we seen of people in Memphis, Tennessee saying, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you to the federal government, because now our kids can go outside and play. We can take the dog for a walk. We feel safer. And it's not just being safer. It's also that perception of feeling safer because they have all the National Guard there. So I'm sorry, the train has left the station. Nancy Pelosi, if you're not on board, if you are actually telling people to arrest agents, if any local politicians from Pritzker to Newsom to Brandon Johnson are telling people to arrest ICE agents, Letitia James, I'm looking at you too. You know what's going to happen? You're going to wind up in jail because then you are the problem. You are the one impeding. And this is serious stuff.